I always thought the pyramids were just tombs, monuments to kings long gone. But the night we slipped beneath the sands of Giza, I saw something no history book could ever prepare me for. It wasn't carvings, or gold, or even mummies. It was machines. Vast, ancient mechanisms hidden beneath the stones, humming with a rhythm that had never stopped. They weren't dead ruins. They were alive, waiting. We were just a group of friends, tourists who wanted adventure. But what we found under those pyramids, it divided our lives into before and after. And when I looked closer, when I heard the echo of gears grinding beneath the sarcophagus, I realized something terrifying. The pharaohs hadn't just built monuments. They had built engines. Engines that were never meant to be uncovered. Subscribe now, because what I'm about to tell you is the truth they've hidden for thousands of years. The heat of Cairo pressed against us like a living thing, thick and suffocating, as we stepped off the tour bus and onto the dusty road that led toward the pyramids. Tourists swarmed in every direction, selfie sticks, bottled water, the endless chatter of guides rehearsing the same ancient stories. To most people, this was the trip of a lifetime. For us, it was supposed to be a joke. "Guys, admit it," said Ryan, the skeptic of the group, tugging at his baseball cap. "We paid way too much money just to stare at big piles of rocks." "Big piles of rocks?" Elena, our history nerd, shot him a look that could have melted the desert itself. "These are wonders of the ancient world. Do you know how many theories exist about how they were built? Slaves, ramps, aliens, take your pick. But none of them fully explain it." Marcus, our dreamer, already had his camera out, filming every second. Man, this is perfect content. Lost secrets of Egypt exposed by 4 friends. Just imagine the views. I laughed, but something in me buzzed with unease. Maybe it was the way the horizon shimmered with heat. Or how the Great Pyramid loomed like a shadow against the sky. It didn't look like a ruin. It looked waiting. We followed the group toward the base of the pyramid, listening to the guide rattle off dates and dynasties. But when the crowd moved on, Marcus tugged my sleeve. "Did you hear that?" "Hear what?" We paused. Beneath the chatter, beneath the desert wind, there was a sound, a low metallic hum. It didn't belong here. It didn't belong anywhere. Ryan shook his head. "Probably a generator for the lights. Don't tell me you're buying into this ancient machinery stuff." But Elna wasn't listening. She had crouched near the sand, brushing dust off a slab of stone that jutted out from the pyramid's side. "Look at this," she whispered. We gathered around. The slab was carved with hieroglyphs, but between the symbols were shapes no one could mistake. Circles with teeth like gears, interlocking lines like schematics. "Those aren't hieroglyphs," I muttered. Ryan scoffed. "Tourist graffiti. Some idiot carving modern junk into ancient rock." But before he could finish, the stone beneath Elena's hand shifted. We all jumped back as the slab slid inward, grinding like a hidden door. The sound that followed was unmistakable. Metal turning against metal, echoing from the depths below. Elena's eyes widened. That wasn't graffiti. Marcus's camera was shaking in his hands. "Guys, did we just find an entrance no one's supposed to see?" The hum grew louder, vibrating through the sand at our feet. I felt it in my bones. The pyramid wasn't just stone. It was something more, something alive. And for the first time I wondered if we'd made a mistake coming here. The grinding sound finally stopped, leaving behind a silence so heavy it seemed to press down on us. The slab of stone had shifted just enough to reveal a dark passageway, the air inside colder than the desert night. A gust of stale wind escaped from within, carrying the smell of iron and dust. Ryan swallowed hard. "No way! We're not going in there! Tourists vanish in Egypt all the time, you know. You want to end up on the news?" Marcus grinned nervously, still clutching his camera. Vanishing tourists? That's the best hook for a video ever. Elena stepped closer, her eyes shining with a mix of fear and excitement. Don't you get it? This isn't in any guidebook. This is real. We just stumbled onto something no one's seen for thousands of years. I hesitated. Every instinct screamed to turn back, to leave this buried secret alone. But something deeper tugged at me. The same vibration we had felt in the sand. The hum that wasn't supposed to exist. It felt like it was calling. Just for a look, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. 5 minutes. Then we're out. We squeezed through the opening, our phone flashlights cutting weak beams into the darkness. The walls were narrow, carved stone lined with faint grooves. Not hieroglyphs this time, something more precise. Symbols that looked almost mathematical, patterns repeating in perfect symmetry. Elena trailed her fingers along the wall. This isn't decorative, it's functional, like schematics. The passage sloped downward, the air growing cooler, almost damp. Our footsteps echoed strangely, as if the tunnel itself amplified sound. Ryan muttered, "This is insane. We're probably inhaling ancient mold right now. I'm gonna sue you guys if we die." We reached a chamber at the bottom, and when my light swept across it, all 4 of us stopped breathing. The room was vast, far larger than the narrow tunnel suggested. And in the center stood an array of massive gears, each one the size of a car, interlocked and still gleaming faintly despite the centuries. Bronze or something darker, etched with those same repeating patterns. They weren't corroded, they weren't broken. They looked maintained. Marcus whispered, "No way. This can't be real." We circled the machine slowly, our footsteps crunching against stone. The gears weren't moving, but the hum was louder here, resonating through the floor. I crouched, pressing my hand to the ground. It vibrated, as if something deeper below was still alive. Elena pointed to a panel embedded in the wall. Unlike the rest of the chamber, this part looked almost modern smooth, polished, with a flat surface covered in strange indentations. She touched it lightly, and for a split second, the surface glowed faint blue, then faded. Ryan backed away. "Okay. Nope, that's it. We're leaving. Whatever this is, it's not for us." But Elena shook her head. "Think about it. These pyramids are supposed to be 4,000 years old. But this looks like it could have been built yesterday. How? Who?" Her words hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. Then, as if answering her question, one of the gears twitched. Just slightly, a fraction of a turn. The sound echoed like thunder. Dust rained from the ceiling, and the vibration grew stronger, almost shaking the floor. Marcus dropped his camera, the clatter lost under the mechanical roar. "Tell me you guys saw that." We didn't answer. We were too busy staring, too busy realizing the truth. This machine hadn't died. It had just been sleeping, and we had just woken it up. The chamber shook with the groan of ancient metal, the grinding of gears echoing through the stone like the heartbeat of something enormous. Dust rained from the ceiling, as if the pyramid itself were exhaling after centuries of silence. "Tell me this is an earthquake," Ryan shouted over the noise, his face pale in the glow of our phones. But it wasn't. We all knew it. The gears were moving. Slowly, impossibly, but moving. Elena's eyes were wide, her voice trembling with awe. It's been dormant, waiting for a trigger." Marcus grabbed his camera, aiming shakily at the massive interlocking wheels. "Oh my God, this is gold! Nobody's gonna believe this until they see it!" As if responding to his words, A section of the floor in the center of the room shifted. With a deep mechanical groan, a square slab retracted into the ground, revealing a shaft that plunged into blackness. From below came the sound of rushing air and something else, a rhythmic thrum, like engines idling in the dark. We all froze. Ryan backed toward the tunnel. Nope, no chance. This is the part in every horror movie where everyone dies. Elena didn't move. She was staring at the glowing panel in the wall. The indentations on its surface were pulsing faintly now, blue veins spreading like light beneath the stone. It's a control system. It reacted to me before. Maybe. She pressed her palm against the surface again. This time, the panel flared to life, symbols spiraling across it like water flowing downhill. They weren't hieroglyphs. They weren't any language I recognized. Yet something about them felt familiar. Like equations half remembered from a dream. The gears spun faster. The shaft below exhaled a rush of cold air, whipping our clothes. A faint glow began to rise from the depths, illuminating the walls in eerie, shifting patterns. Marcus leaned over the edge, his camera pointed down. Holy! It's another level. There's more beneath this. A whole system. Elena turned, her voice urgent. Don't you see? The pyramids aren't tombs. They're machines. And this is just the surface. Ryan's voice cracked. Machines for what? The answer came in the form of a tremor. From deep below, a column of light shot upward, stopping just short of the chamber ceiling. It wasn't fire or electricity. It was something else. Pure energy, pulsing in rhythm with the gears. The air crackled, and for an instant I thought I heard a voice inside my head. Not words. A hum. A command. I staggered back, clutching my temples. The vibration wasn't just in the stone anymore. It was inside me. Elena! I shouted. Turn it off! But her face was transfixed, eyes locked on the glowing panel. It's not letting me. It's reading us. Measuring us. Marcus cursed, backing away from the shaft. We need to get out of here. Now. Before we could move, the ground beneath our feet shifted again. The floor plates around the shaft slid apart like petals, opening, revealing a massive spiral staircase carved into the stone. It led downward, winding into the glow. The noise softened, as if inviting us in. Elena turned to me, her voice barely a whisper. This isn't a trap, it's a test. It wants us to go down. I looked at the others. Ryan was shaking his head violently. Marcus's hands trembled around the camera, but I could see the spark in his eyes. And Elena, she was already stepping toward the staircase, as though some invisible hand was pulling her. Every instinct screamed to run. But the hum in my bones told me the opposite. We hadn't just discovered a machine, we had triggered it. And whatever it was built for, we were now part of it. The spiral staircase seemed endless, each step groaning beneath our weight. The deeper we descended, the cooler the air became, until the desert heat felt like a memory. The glow from below brightened with every turn, bathing the stone walls in shifting patterns of light. Ryan muttered under his breath the whole way down. This is insane. This is suicide. People don't come back from places like this. Then why are you still here? Elena shot back, her voice sharp, though her hands trembled as she gripped the rail. Because none of you would actually leave, Ryan snapped. Someone has to be the voice of reason. Marcus laughed nervously, camera still rolling. Reason doesn't get you millions of views. The staircase finally ended in a platform overlooking a vast chamber. When our light swept across it, we all froze. The room wasn't carved like the tunnels above. It was engineered. Perfectly smooth walls of black stone, etched with glowing blue veins that pulsed in rhythm with the hum. Enormous columns, rose from the floor, their surfaces covered with spiraling patterns that looked almost digital. And at the center of the chamber stood a massive circular mechanism, easily 30 feet high. It resembled a wheel, though it was made of interlocking rings, each one spinning slowly in a different direction. At its core pulsed a sphere of light, shifting colors with every rotation. Elena's breath caught. It's a gyroscope, or something far more advanced. It's stabilizing something. Ryan stepped back, shaking his head. This is impossible. You're telling me ancient Egyptians built that? No way. But I couldn't look away. The hum was stronger here, resonating in my chest like a second heartbeat. And the sphere at the center of it felt alive, like it was watching us. We descended another set of steps that led directly onto the chamber floor. The closer we got, the more detail we saw. Panels embedded in the columns, etched with strange diagrams. Some looked like star maps, others like blueprints of machines far beyond our understanding. Marcus zoomed in with his camera. Guys, this looks like schematics for rockets, engines, even satellites. Elena touched one of the glowing diagrams. No, not rockets, power conduits, energy flows. This is about harnessing something greater. As if triggered by her words, the giant wheel rotated faster, the rings spinning with a grinding roar. Sparks of light arced between the columns and the sphere. Ryan stumbled back. Okay, that's it. We're leaving. I don't care what this is. It doesn't want us here. But before we could move, a sound rose above the hum. Not mechanical this time, but human. A cry. It came from the far end of the chamber, behind one of the columns. We rushed toward it, our footsteps echoing. What we found stopped us cold. There, embedded in a glass-like capsule, was a man, or what had once been a man. His body was suspended in liquid, motionless, but his face twisted in agony. Tubes and wires wrapped around him, connecting his chest to the glowing veins in the walls. Marcus dropped his camera. Jesus Christ. Elena pressed a hand against the glass, her voice trembling. He's alive, or something close to it. They were using people, as part of the system. The cry came again, not from his mouth, but from the chamber itself, his voice amplified through the vibrations of the walls. It wasn't a scream, it was a warning. Leave! Now! The hum surged, almost deafening. The capsule flickered, and the man's eyes opened, glowing the same color as the sphere at the chamber's core. Ryan turned and bolted toward the staircase. I'm done, I'm out. But the staircase was already gone. The stone had sealed itself, leaving nothing but smooth wall where the steps had been. The chamber was alive, and it wasn't letting us go. The chamber's hump deepened, shaking the floor so violently that dust cascaded from the unseen ceiling high above. The glowing veins on the walls brightened, pulsing in time with the sphere at the heart of the machine. It was no longer background noise, it was a heartbeat. And it felt like it was syncing with ours. Ryan hammered his fists against the sealed wall where the staircase had been. No, 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 it's closed. Oh God, we're stuck down here. Calm down, I shouted, though my voice barely carried over the roar. There has to be another exit. Machines have maintenance routes, right? But Elena wasn't looking for an exit. She was transfixed by the figure in the capsule, her hand pressed against the glass. His eyes glowed brighter now, blue light bleeding into the liquid around him. Listen, she whispered. He's trying to communicate. Marcus swallowed hard, his camera trembling in his hands. Communicate? Elena, that's a corpse hooked up to wires? No, she shook her head slowly. He's part of the system. Look, the veins from his chest feed into the sphere. He's powering it. As if in answer, the man's mouth moved. It didn't match the words we heard, but the voice boomed through the chamber itself. We were chosen, bound to the engine. Ryan stepped back, shaking his head furiously. Nope, nope, I'm done. You guys can worship your ancient alien battery, but I'm finding a way out. Before anyone could stop him, he darted toward the far side of the chamber, disappearing behind a column. Elena shouted, "Ryan, don't!" Her words were drowned by a blinding flash. The hum spiked, and the rings of the central wheel rotated violently, sending sparks of light cascading across the chamber. When the glow dimmed, Ryan was gone. Not vaporized, not burned, just gone, as if the machine had swallowed him whole. "Ryan!" I screamed, my voice echoing uselessly. Marcus's camera clattered to the ground, forgotten. He stared at the empty space where Ryan had been, his face ghostly pale. What just happened? The answer came from the glowing figure in the capsule. His eyes locked onto mine, piercing through the glass, through the chamber, through me. The machine selects. It consumes to preserve itself. One fuels. The others continue. My stomach turned to ice. It sacrificed him. Elena's face twisted in horror, but her voice was steady. No, it's not sacrifice. It's fuel. That's why they built it this way. The pharaohs didn't build tombs. They built engines. Engines that needed people. The massive rings whirled faster, and the light from the sphere expanded, illuminating murals hidden on the far wall. We turned and gasped. Carved into the black stone were images of pharaohs, but not the way we knew them. They weren't seated on thrones or carried by slaves. They stood inside the great wheel, their bodies tethered by glowing veins, their eyes alight with the same blue fire. Marcus's voice cracked. They weren't gods. They were batteries, Elena whispered. Or pilots. The pyramids were machines, and the rulers weren't buried here. They were integrated into it. Suddenly, the chamber shifted again, the floor trembling beneath us. A beam of light shot upward from the sphere, carving into the ceiling and piercing through stone like it was paper. For a brief moment, we saw the desert sky far above, stars flickering in the night. Marcus shielded his eyes. It's opening to the surface. Why? The answer came not from the figure in the capsule, but from the hum inside my skull. A voice that wasn't mine, whispering like static. The cycle resumes. Elena gripped my arm, terror etched into her face. It's restarting. The machine hasn't just been waiting. It's preparing. And Ryan, he was only the first. The chamber roared louder than ever, drowning out everything else. The sphere flared white, and the floor split open beneath us, revealing yet another spiral descent. We weren't finished. We had only just reached the beginning. The floor split apart with a grinding roar, stone slabs retracting into the walls until only a spiral staircase of metal remained, glowing faintly in the pulsing light. The air that rose from below was freezing cold, carrying with it the metallic tang of blood and ozone. Marcus clutched my arm. We can't go down there. Ryan's gone. He just disappeared. If we go any further, we're next. Elena's face was pale, but her eyes burned with something fiercer than fear. If we don't go down, we'll never get out. Don't you see? The pyramid isn't a tomb. It's a system, and we've already triggered it. There's no way back. I glanced at the capsule again. The figure inside was still, but his glowing eyes followed us. A shiver ran through me. His voice echoed, not aloud, but inside my skull. Choose. One fuels, the others escape. I shook my head violently. No, we're not playing its game. But even as I said it, my skin prickled with static. The veins of light in the walls flared, tracing lines toward us. My chest tightened, my heart skipping beats in perfect rhythm with the hum. Marcus gasped and staggered back, clutching his chest. "Elena!" he wheezed. "It's inside me!" Elena pressed her palms against the panel embedded in one of the columns. "It's reading us! Measuring our bodies, our energy!" That's what Ryan meant when he screamed about seeing the future. It was mapping him! The light surged again, and the staircase to the new level extended fully, stopping at a platform far below. The hum turned into a rhythm, almost like a chant. My stomach twisted as I realized the pattern matched our pulse. Marcus dropped his camera, falling to his knees. His body glowed faintly, blue veins crawling across his skin like cracks in porcelain. His voice was small, terrified. "It's choosing me next." I lunged forward, grabbing him by the shoulders. "No, I'm not letting it take you." But the air around him shimmered, heat waves distorting his outline. The light from the sphere concentrated, narrowing into a beam that bathed him in blinding radiance. His scream tore through the chamber raw human and then abruptly cut off. When the light faded, Marcus was gone. Only the camera remained, its lens cracked, still recording nothing. Elena stumbled back, tears streaking her face. "It's feeding. The machine isn't just alive, it's evolving. Every time it consumes one of us, it gets stronger." The murals on the wall shifted, as though the stone itself were rewriting. The images of pharaohs were gone, replaced by new carvings, our faces. My breath caught in my throat. Ryan's blank stare, Marcus's terrified eyes, Elena's determined expression, all etched in glowing blue lines. "Elena," I whispered. "It's recording us." She looked at me with despair and determination all at once. "Then we have to beat it, before it finishes the cycle." The central wheel groaned, accelerating its rotations until sparks of energy lashed across the chamber like lightning. The floor trembled, and the staircase downward pulsed with light, beckoning us. There was no choice. Together, we stepped onto the staircase, each step vibrating beneath our weight. The chamber above closed behind us, sealing Marcus's camera and Ryan's last traces forever. As we descended, the hum grew deafening, the light blinding. My chest felt like it would burst. I staggered, gripping the railing, and saw faint blue light seeping beneath my own skin. "Elena!" I gasped. It's inside me now." She grabbed my arm, her eyes wild. "Then we run before it finishes, before it rewrites us completely." The staircase opened into a new chamber, larger than the last, and there, in the center, stood another wheel, this one twice as massive, its core glowing so brightly it hurt to look at. Around it were dozens of capsules. Some held desiccated corpses, others figures still twitching, their faces contorted in silent screams. Elena whispered, her voice breaking. "Oh my God. It's been using people for thousands of years." The hum swelled again, pressing into our skulls, and then the voice returned. "Two remain. One fuels, one survives." The chamber pulsed with light, the choice looming over us. And for the first time, I wasn't sure if any of us were meant to survive at all. The chamber roared like a storm trapped beneath the earth. The wheel at its center spun faster than sight, a blur of interlocking rings around the blinding sphere. The capsules surrounding it lit up one by one, each glowing with the faint outline of a human soul still trapped within. Elena clutched my arm, her nails digging into my skin. "We can't let it take us. If one of us fuels it, that's the end." The voice echoed again, seeping into my bones, impossibly ancient and mechanical at once. "Two remain. One fuels, one survives." The veins of light on the walls flared, shifting their carvings. Now it wasn't just Ryan and Marcus etched into the stone. It was us Elena's determined eyes, my terrified face. The machine was already writing our fate. I felt the hum in my chest, stronger now, as though the machine's rhythm had taken over my heartbeat. My skin tingled with faint blue light crawling beneath the surface. Elena, I think it's already inside me. Maybe. Maybe I'm the one it's choosing. No, she snapped, tears welling in her eyes. That's what it wants you to think. It feeds on fear, on surrender. Don't you see? The pharaohs didn't die for it. They submitted. We can't do the same. The sphere pulsed violently, sending out a shockwave that rattled the capsules. Some of the figures inside stirred, their mouths opening in silent screams. The voice came again, louder, like thunder. One fuels, one survives. Elena's face twisted with desperation. She grabbed both my hands, forcing me to look at her. If it's going to take anyone, it's me. I can't watch you vanish like Ryan, like Marcus. Let me do this. I shook my head furiously. No. I won't let you throw yourself away. If it takes you, I'll have nothing. If it takes me, at least you can escape. The machine's hum spiked, drowning out our voices, the light around us swirling faster. The choice was moments away from being forced. And then, something inside me shifted. The hum wasn't foreign anymore. It was familiar. The vibrations in my chest weren't just invasive. They were responsive. I wasn't being consumed. I was being linked. Elena, I gasped, realization flooding me. It doesn't just feed on us. It adapts to us. It's waiting for one of us to take control. Her eyes widened. You mean, it can be piloted? The wheel spun violently, and the sphere flared white, its voice now deafening. One fuels, one survives. I took a step forward, toward the light. My body trembling. Every instinct screamed to stop, but another voice, my own, buried deep inside, pushed me on. Elena, if I step in, maybe I don't die. Maybe I become part of it. Maybe I can end it. She screamed, grabbing my arm. And if you can't, then it eats you, and I'm alone. I turned to her, forcing a weak smile despite the terror clawing at me. Then run. If this goes wrong, at least one of us makes it out. That has to be enough. Before she could stop me, I stepped into the beam. The world exploded in light. My body convulsed, pain ripping through every nerve. But beneath it was something else knowledge. Images flooding my mind. The pharaohs standing within this machine, their bodies glowing, their will merging with the engine. The pyramids weren't tombs, they were control towers, stabilizing something vast beneath the desert, something that reached beyond time itself. I saw stars shifting, planets aligning, the flow of centuries bending like rivers guided by unseen hands. And then I felt it, the machine responding to me, not consuming, listening. Elena! I shouted through the storm. It's not just an engine, it's a map! A gateway! Her face was a blur through the light, her voice cracking with terror. Come back! Please come back! The last thing I saw before the light swallowed everything was her silhouette running toward the sealed wall, pounding against it with all her strength. Then silence. When I opened my eyes, I was no longer in the chamber. The desert stretched out before me, the great pyramid towering above in the dawn light. The air was still, the hum gone. Elena lay unconscious beside me, alive. But Ryan and Marcus were gone. And on my hand, etched into my skin like fire, was the glowing mark of the wheel. The machine wasn't destroyed. It had chosen me. And deep beneath the sands, I could still feel it waiting, turning ready for the cycle to begin again.